Hey guys, Todd Bettenhausen here. I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to drive and talk about my favorite racetrack on the whole planet. It always will be the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we're driving in VR here in iRacing. I've got an Oculus Rift CV1 on my head. I'm using NVIDIA Share. It used to be called Shadow Play to record the output from the VR headset to a file that I'm going to post up on YouTube. So this is what the iRacing interface looks like in VR. I'm going to go ahead and reach down and grab my keyboard. And I'll start playing this replay that I made a little bit of already, just to give us a nice jumping off place for getting in the car. This is a i7 4790K on a Z97 Asus Sabertooth motherboard, and it runs the simulator very, very well. I have every graphic option enabled. So let's go ahead and get this garbage off the screen. And I'm using the digital race engineer, so I can do things like get in the car or go back to the garage or check the status of the car just by commanding it with my voice. So drive.
Drive.
So now we're standing in pit lane on the car, or in the car. You can see that we're rendering all the cockpit mirrors. You can even see a little bit of vibration there. I can feel the car vibrating under me because I've got this D-box under my chassis. We'll go ahead and get rid of this mirror, toggle virtual mirror, because that thing's just kind of ugly floating out in space there. You can see how nicely they modeled the steering wheel and all the controls on the steering wheel. It's all in 3D. I mean, it's as close as you're going to come to sitting in a race car. There's the crew. You can see they're animated. That's something that iRacing has done recently. Hopefully they'll do the same thing for the guys on this side of the wall too that service the car during a pit stop, but right now I've just got the support crew behind the wall and the lollipop guy standing there. So let's go out on the racetrack and I'll tell you a few things about the track that you may or may not know. There's been a lot of history at this place since the first 500 in 1911. Our family's certainly been involved in a lot of them. We've come very close to winning it. My grandfather finished second in 1955. My dad finished third in 1980 and could have easily won the race if not for a bit of bad luck driving for Roger Penske in 1972. So this place is kind of heartbreak hotel for us, but it'll always be near and dear to my heart. In fact, that first deck we're coming to right there, that first seat, that's where I sit on race day. And all four corners kind of look the same, but I promise you they're not. The racetrack's actually 7 feet lower in this end, the end I'm coming to, the south end. And we usually have a tailwind during May, so this will be the fastest corner on the racetrack. It's also the trickiest. Here's a short straightaway at the south end of the track. Turn 2. These suites have been there for a long time. Now we're headed north up the backstretch. You can see it's the afternoon, the sun's off to our left in the west. Turn 3 just seems wide and slow and real easy by comparison to turn 1 because you're going uphill, you're generally going into that headwind. It takes a bit over 40 seconds to make a lap here. It's in the neighborhood of a 220 mile an hour average. Turn 2 right here is the most important turn on the racetrack because you are going uphill. If you scrub off any speed, you pay the penalty all the way up the backstretch here. The character of the track has changed a lot. They made major changes to the configuration for the first Brickyard 400. I believe it was 1993. The track used to be much wider. That green grassy area between the part I'm driving on and the warm-up lane, or the emergency lane on the inside. It used to mostly be a paved apron, and you could run your car, the entire car, below the white line. And you know, there were some tremendous battles. You know, the Rick Mears, Michael Andretti battles. I think it was about 88, 89. I don't know exactly. You know, where guys were using the whole racetrack. Now it's a much narrower, it's a much more one-groove track. And they're talking about bringing the apron back. Part of the reason they took it away is because they didn't want cars to do a full spin and impact nose first. This was before the days of the safer barrier, so, you know, fortunately the track's gotten much, much safer over the years. It'll always be an exciting place. I certainly look forward to May every year, and I'll never forget my first lap here in iRacing. It's a pretty emotional experience for me, actually. You can see the detail they go to. A little bump there in turn 3, you can hear it in my voice. You can see the detail they go to. I mean, the rust from the fence posts, when they scan the place, you can see the rust on the pavement out by the outside wall. It's been since repaved, new catch fence all the way around, new grandstands up there, up top in the penthouse. The place is always changing. Hopefully they're able to make some updates to their scanned version of it. It's still spectacular, and it's the best thing in sim racing. And I'm glad to have it. So we'll go ahead and bring the car to the pits, and we'll play around with replays. We don't want to get this video too long or too boring. So now you can see we're in that service lane that I talked about. That grassy area to the right is the apron, what used to be the apron. Considerably rougher down here, you can feel it. I can feel it in my motion platform. You know, the surface just isn't as refined as the racing surface itself.
25 seconds to the box.
So you can see that we're down to the pit road speed now. And this is pretty cool. When I pull in and stop,
9
the
seconds.
car is actually going to lift up on the air jacks, which is neat. One
Pit
thing
now.
the D-Box does that kind of took me by surprise the first time.
Pit now.
Thump up on the jacks. Bang, drop me on the ground. Pretty neat. Okay, let's go ahead and play with some replays. I gotta reach down and grab my keyboard again. Back to garage.
To garage.
Okay, again, now you can see that every graphic option is maximized. This hardware just does a great job with iRacing and VR. I don't know how it could get much better. You know, more pixels, sure, a higher frame rate, sure, but never did I dream, you know, back when I was playing Indianapolis 500, the simulation during lunch at work, steering with a keyboard. I think it was about 1989, that we'd have something like this during my lifetime, and that I'd be able to drive a virtual version of the Speedway that is this good. So we'll just cycle through the cameras and see what it looks and sounds like. Pretty neat how the sound reflects the camera position relative to the car. They've done a nice job with it. Very nice sense of speed here on this nose camera. pretty darn cool. You can see the detail that's gone to you. You can really appreciate it in VR with these cameras that are fixed to the car, and the ability to turn around and see things that that you can't see on a flat monitor. You can even see the driver's head has a little bit of movement baked in. Someday it might track our actual VR head. That'll be pretty cool. Love the sound. And I'm already coming in here. It's a long time to come down the pit lane. At 60 miles an hour. That's pretty neat. Okay, here we go. We'll see the car pop up on the jacks. I think I slid past my lollipop guy. Okay, well, there we go. There's a little bit about the Speedway and about my setup and just how far we've come in sim racing. It's a great hobby. Met friends from all over the world and gotten to go places and try things that I never imagined that I would. And I've enjoyed every minute in this hobby. The aspect of not only driving but making friends, but the tuning of the hardware and the software, building cockpits and so forth. Pretty much the same thing the flight simulator guys do, but we're racing guys, and it's a heck of a lot of fun, and um, it's a lot of fun to share it and enjoy it with like-minded people. So we'll see you next time. I don't know what I'll cook up, whatever comes to mind. Whatever it is, I hope you all enjoy it. Again, this has been Todd Bettenhausen. See you next time.